I think that the easiest thing to do is give up. When something gets hard, you throw in the towel and move on. That's what we're accustomed to doing. That is what we find ourselves doing. We give up. And it's not that we can't, we just choose not to, because not doing anything is way easier than doing something. You have 200 more to go. Pick up the rope and try again.
You always think you know everything, right? Pick up the rope and try again. I did try. And I'm done. You're not a very nice person, you know that, right, Shana? You're not even a real person.
I wanna be a great one. I wanna be a great one.
Oh, okay, so today's sit and talk where I am standing is going to be done at night time because it's like 6:30 and the sun went down, and so this explains the change in light. So let's get into the video. So I was watching a series on Netflix recently, and the name of that series is The Crown, and in that series someone said history wasn't made by those who did nothing. And that is now my favorite quote because it's a factual statement. Human beings are very creative creatures, and this is evident in the hundreds of innovative ideas that were brought to life by people like you and me and Thomas Edison and the Wright brothers. All of these people, very, very brilliant minds. And so that got me to thinking, what is impossible? And I obviously had to use some really reliable sources, which, as you know, it is the Holy Bible and Google. So the Bible explains in Matthew 19:26 that with God all things are possible, whereas Google explains that a definition of the word impossible is this. So something that's impossible is something that cannot be done, or something that cannot be accomplished at all. So what makes something impossible? I've been going it over around and around in my head over and over again, trying to come up with an answer as to what makes something seem impossible. And then it hit me. Failure. Failure is what makes something seem impossible. Because the thing about failure is one of those things that isn't meant to discourage you, but it can. You see, failure is like you fall on, you get a huge cut on your hand, and it's bleeding and it's hurting. So someone comes along and helps you, and they put hydrogen peroxide on that cut, and so it burns for a little bit, and you probably cry for a little bit, but eventually the pain stops, the burning stops, and the bleeding stops. Everything just stops. Failure is the same way. Just because you don't succeed at something, that doesn't mean you should give up. It's going to burn for a little bit. It's going to hurt a lot and you're going to cry, but you get up and you try again. Don't amputate your whole hand just because you have a little cut right here. You take that hydrogen peroxide and you put it on this so that you can clean your cut and your wound and make it all better, but don't give up. You see, what happens to us in life is we are soft. We're like mashed potatoes. We're soft, and perseverance seems like a task that is also difficult for us to do, and that is where we go through these stages. So you want to pursue an idea, it popped in your brain and you want to pursue, so you write it down because you don't want to forget it. When you write it down, you work out the technical parts of it so that you can bring it to life. You bring it to life, you fail at your first attempt, you try again, but you fail again, and that is where we lose interest. And when we lose interest, we give up because you don't have any purpose, any motive for it anymore. All of it just disappeared because you lost interest in doing it. So you give up, and that whole process right there, what I just said, that is what makes people miss out on all of their successes. Because if you're close enough to success that you can taste it on your tongue, but you can't see it with your eyes, and you give up, someone else is going to come in, swoop in, and save the day. Take your hard work and get all of the praise for it because you didn't continue your work. They basically picked up where you left off. I love Thomas Edison, and one of my favorite quotes from him is, "I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that will not work." But then he went on to say that many of life's failures is because of people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up. So failure is like the ingredient that either gives food its flavor or it spoils the taste completely. In the same way, failure does two things to us. It either makes us stronger and wiser for our next attempt, or it makes us give up on it completely. That is why in today's world we need to change our mindset, the way we think and perceive things, because how the brain works is, if you think you are not going to achieve something, you won't. So if you condition your brain to think that actually the sky isn't the limits, my thoughts are, you would think and act in a way that is unbelievable. When you stop limiting yourself because of your perception of what is difficult and impossible, that is where you start thinking like a winner. So you're gonna think that might sound impossible, but I'm gonna make it possible. You think I did fail, yes, but I'll try again and give my best. The problem with human beings are we give up at our first attempt, and that is because we lack the condiment that gives success its flavor, and that is perseverance and hard work. What would happen if the Wright brothers decided to give up on their first attempt? Would we even have planes today? I mean, of course we would have planes today, because I just said that someone else would have probably swooped in and saved the day. But my point is, the Wright brothers wouldn't have gotten the fame for it if they would have given up on their first attempt. So Intellectual Ventures tells us that when the Wright brothers failed at their first attempt, they didn't just give up. They went back to the drawing board and modified their design, increasing the wingspan of their planes and everything. Although it made some improvement, the plane was not able to be controlled once it was in the sky. So they tried and tried and tried some more until they finally perfected a glider that would remain in the sky for an extended period of time. Today, in 2020, where we have like flying cars, okay, I'm just kidding, we don't have flying cars, but today in 2020 we have different types of aircraft. We have helicopters, we have planes, we have private jets, all because in 1903 two brothers decided to persevere. And when I say they persevered, I mean they tried to achieve their goal despite difficulties and despite failure. So they didn't just walk into a convenience store and pick up a get out of perseverance free card. No. If you want something, you have to work hard to get it despite failure, despite difficulties, because nothing in life is going to be handed to you on a silver platter. If you ever decide to give up on your hopes and dreams as a person, I need you to remember that to give up is to fail. So do yourself a favor and do not be a failure. So you're going to try and try and try again until you succeed, because like I said at the beginning of this video, nothing is impossible.